Hey, yo, America, understand this. I'm a black man in America, right? I walk around with a 19 on my hip, a SIG in my glove compartment, and an AR-15 in my 2020 Honda Accord daily, right? And you know what I don't do with those things? I don't go and impede law enforcement carrying out their duties. You know what I do? I mind my business. That's all I do. I go out there, I drink water, I get money, and I mind my business. You know my favorite saying, right? And for some reason, I'm able to survive. Every single day, I'm able to come home, run my kids a bath, tuck them in, and continue to do my thing. No harm comes to me, no harm comes to my family. I also have a 12 gauge pump, away from the kids, of course, because, you got to be a responsible pew-pew owner, okay? And no harm comes to me and my family because I mind my business. I let the law do the law things. If I have beef, I petition my lawmakers. I don't go and take it out on law enforcement who are also citizens and Americans like me. And for some reason, I'm still here. There's a lesson in that.
Dan, I think what we need to take a look at here is the situation in its totality. What happened leading up to this situation? The suspect decided to inject himself into a law enforcement action. What's not being said here is the fact that Border Patrol agents and law enforcement were conducting a targeted law enforcement effort against a violent, illegal alien that was nearby, and that suspect injected himself into that law enforcement situation with a weapon. And what happened between when that situation first came about and the shooting, that's going to be investigated, and we're going to get to the facts of that.
What is the line? Where does it go from peaceful protest, I have a First Amendment right to do that, to I'm going to get arrested protesting, to I'm going to get shot to death?
We have clearly from the very beginning followed the exact same process and protocols that have been implemented this entire administration and that the previous administration followed and has gone on in law enforcement interactions for years. You cannot impede a law enforcement investigation and operation. When an officer tells you to back off and gives you orders, you should comply and explain. You shouldn't show up with weapons then no ID and no indication of how they're going to be used. And that aggressive interaction, laying hands on law enforcement officers, clearly is a crime, and it is something that should not be acceptable.
You do not get to attack law enforcement officials in this country without any repercussions. You do not get to do that in Minnesota, LA, or anywhere else. And the interagency is leading the charge out there. We've already arrested with the interagency those that violated the FACE Act and impeded a peaceful prayer in church. We've already just last night arrested 4 more individuals involved in the damage of government property that we saw the videos of online. We've arrested other individuals who've made threats to law enforcement online. So we are not messing around. It doesn't have to be in person. If you threaten law enforcement officials or civilians, we are going to come find you. And as for this latest shooting, yes, DHS and HSI are the lead, and the FBI is processing the physical evidence. So we're in possession of the firearm, which is going to go to our laboratory. But as Secretary Noem said, no one who wants to be peaceful shows up at a protest with a firearm that is loaded with 2 full magazines.
I'm very confused about why the conversation is about what you're talking about instead of focusing on what really matters, which is why in one city, in one place do we have these problems. We deport 10 times the number of illegal aliens out of Texas than we do out of Minneapolis. Why do we hear nothing out of Texas about any of the same problems that we have in Minneapolis. I'll tell you why. Because in Texas, we have the cooperation and support of local law enforcement so that we can do these operations safely, keeping U.S. citizens and others protected and safe. That is not what we have in Minneapolis. And the fact that it's the administration that's being blamed for the utter failure of leadership in Minneapolis is not right, it's not appropriate, and it's also not true.
You have been a supporter of the Second Amendment. When Secretary Noem says, I don't know of any peaceful protester that shows up with a gun and ammo rather than a sign, do you believe Americans have the right to bear arms while they're protesting?
Well, first of all, I'm a co-sponsor of Louisiana's law that allows you to have a concealed carry permit. It's worked very well there. I don't know the state law in Minnesota. I know in a state like Louisiana, and frankly most states, you are not allowed to carry a gun while you're committing another crime. And interfering with law enforcement is a felony. It's something that, unfortunately, we're seeing in a lot of cities. You even had the police chief yesterday, Chief O'Hara, that you just had on, yesterday said of the protests going on after the shooting that they were unlawful. He actually said it was an unlawful assembly, what a lot of people are doing. And they were throwing things at ICE agents, throwing projectiles that could harm ICE agents. So let's tone this down. And leaders in Minnesota, by the way, have been ratcheting up the rhetoric. I mean, you saw the Governor Walz said they're Gestapo. He said they're violently hurting people.
Look at the Arizona AG, who just yesterday, by the way, this is an AG who got voters to elect her to be the top cop. She's never practiced law. She was a law professor. She's a radical. And she comes out yesterday and says people should use stand your ground laws to shoot ICE officers. I mean, these are Democrats who, by the way, hate stand your ground laws when law-abiding citizens use them to actually defend themselves against criminals. But now they want to use them and tell people to go after ICE agents. And it should shock no one that we're seeing these types of incidents tragically unfold because the Dems, and I would suggest even foreign interests, are so busy using these agitators, some of them paid, as pawns. They do not care about their safety. All they care about is ginning them up, getting them out there. They want them to put themselves in harm's way because it helps them create this frenzied, false, deceptive narrative. And all they care is about winning a partisan narrative war. That's right. I hope people are watching this and they are hearing what I am saying. The Dems do not care about these agitators or so-called protesters' safety because if they did, they would say, when Biden and his handlers told all of our state and locals to release everybody in their jails that were here illegally, even though they committed felonies, and now Trump is going after those people that Biden released, trying to get them out of the communities, they would say, let them do their jobs. Trump won on this. They won. They're trying to enforce the law. Don't just let them do their jobs. I got an idea, state and locals. Why don't we help them? That will bring peace and order and safety, real safety, to the communities, not ginning up these agitators.
America, I love you, but you gotta wake up. The fact that they are using culture wars in order to distract us from their own wrongdoings. They're taking advantage of all of us, obviously. People are leaving the Democratic Party in droves because they are waking up to the fact that they play on your heartstrings on purpose. Democrats give their voters a false sense of moral superiority. We're the party that cares for people. We're the party that's welcoming. We're the party that loves everybody. America was founded on immigrants. Okay, yeah, I'll give you that. But immigrants who came here legally and contributed to the system. When you import a mass amount of people, at the same time, you're doing it on purpose. You're doing it to destabilize the country's systems, the infrastructure. And then you rely on those same people that you imported for votes to keep you in power. This is why they had open borders. They were importing voters that they could use to launder money and funnel it back to them. Americans are struggling. And people who can come over here who have not paid a dime into our system get to reap all the benefits using our tax dollars. People who are defending this, you're okay with this? People who are okay with this because they are brainwashed into thinking they are the party of morality. There's a reason people become more conservative as they get older because their frontal lobe develops and you start thinking with your brain instead of your heart. Facts over feelings, people. Facts over feelings.
People in Minnesota want to know when this surge will end. Has there been a date set? Is there a certain number of people you want to apprehend before you decide to ease the surge?
We continue to apprehend dozens, if not hundreds, of these criminal illegal aliens a day. We're going to continue conducting that mission. We're not going to put a date or a timeline to stop this mission. This mission's ongoing until there are no more of those criminal illegal aliens roaming the streets of Minneapolis.
Is there a number, though? You have to have a file.
There is a number, and it's called all of them.
Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, ring that notification bell so you know every time I post a new video. If you like what I'm doing over here, you want to show a little extra love and support, be sure to check out our website, crownandthread.com. That's where you can grab all the awesome clothes you see me wearing in all of my videos, like this one. It says, "He conquered as the lamb, returns as the lion." You know, the Lion of Judah, that would be King Jesus. And these are all handmade by my beautiful wife. We got tons of different designs to choose from, Christian, conservative, sizes ranging from itty bitty extra small to big and hefty 5X for my folks that like to eat. Bunch of different colors. It's all gooder than chicken to me. Of course, I'm biased though, but I'm sure we've got something that you look great rocking or that'll make an awesome gift for someone you love. We also sell some pretty sweet woodworking pieces made by my father-in-law, crosses, hearts, charcuterie boards. Definitely go check those out as well. If you'd like to support in other ways, you can buy me a coffee, hit that thanks button. You can become a member of the Gibson family right here on YouTube. All those links are down below in the description section. Listen, by no means do you have to do any of that stuff. Just showing up and watching my freckle face for a few minutes, that means the world to me, seriously. And I love y'all. I truly can't thank you enough for rocking with me throughout the years. Whether you've been here since I started back in 2017 when I was doing music reactions, or you're a recent subscriber, by the grace of God through my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and with y'all's support, my life couldn't be any better. Seriously. So thank you. And until next time, I'll be praying for you. Godspeed. I'm gone.